Hi, this is Christina Jones from Christina Jones Online, and I want to introduce you to my e-commerce calculator. So the purpose of this calculator is to know how much daily traffic you need to send to your website so that you hit your financial goals. And so the first step is to get clear on what you want those financial goals to be. I want you to break it down into a monthly sales figure, and I personally like to set good, better, best goals for these. And your good should, at an absolute minimum, be what you need to turn over to pay the overheads of your business. So in this example, I've set the goal of $10,000 a month here as my good, 15,000 as my better, and 30,000 as my best. But plug in whatever is relevant for your business. It's dramatically different overheads and what's kind of appropriate depending for different sorts of businesses, different stages. So put in some realistic, but your best goal should certainly be really ambitious, which is part of the reason why we break these down into good, better, best. So once you've got that figure sorted, it's time to look at two really important pieces of information. And the first one is your average order value. So if you've got Google Analytics installed on your website, and I really hope you have, with the e-commerce tracking correctly set up, so you're going to find this information really easily. If not, you need to pull a report from your e-commerce software over a certain time period, and so at least 90 days is ideal, and divide for that period your total sales by the number of orders, and that'll give you your average order value. And then the second piece of information that you need is your conversion rate. And so your conversion rate is how many people who visit your site as you place an order. And again, you can find this from your Google Analytics. Many e-commerce software platforms will give you this figure. I know Shopify certainly has it in your main dashboard. But again, if you've not got access to this data, it's time to do some maths. And so what you need to do is over a 90-day period, look at the total traffic on your site, so the total number of visits to your website, and then also the total number of orders, which you should already have from when you were calculating average order value in our previous step. So then divide the number of orders by the total traffic amount, and then multiply that result by 100 to get a percentage. And so typically this is going to be somewhere between 0.5%, which is not great, up to around 3%, which is totally awesome. And then plug these numbers into your calculator. So you're going to see here in the example, we're starting with an average order amount of $50 and a 2% conversion rate. So again, the average order value might be completely inappropriate depending on whether you're selling something really small, like nail polish, versus something really big, like industrial refrigerators. But again, at least this gives us some numbers to work with, and you can really start seeing over the next few minutes how manipulating these two numbers can make a massive difference to the traffic you need. So we can see here we're starting with an average order value of $50 and an e-commerce conversion rate of 2%. And what that spits out here is our traffic required. And so here we need 10,000 visitors a month, which works out at around 333 per day. So does that number surprise you? Is it a lot more than you thought? Is it a lot less than you thought? Either way, at least you now know. But the kind of next stage is to have a play with changing the average order value and conversion rate columns, and this is where you start to see the real sort of power of this calculator as you start sort of manipulating the info. So if you can increase your average order by just $10, so let's go in here and I'm going to increase the average order value from $50 up to $60. What you'll see is it straight away changes here the traffic required down to 8,333. So that's 1,700 less people you need to send to your website to hit exactly the same revenue goal. And driving traffic can be really expensive, especially when you're paying for it via adverts on Google and Facebook. So if you get your average order value up, you need to pay for less traffic, and that typically means you'll make more profit on your $10,000 worth of sales. So I talk a lot more about driving traffic in the attraction portion of the AQL system, but the important thing to know is that kind of less traffic required is normally a good thing. So another thing to really focus on is your conversion value. So I'm just going to change my average order value back now to the 50. And you'll see here that what I'm going to do is change my conversion rate. I'm going to drop it down to 1%, which is, it's probably a more, certainly a lot of people who approach me, but perhaps it's one of the issues they're struggling with in their business is a low e-commerce conversion rate. And you'll see why it's such a problem, because what it does is instantly mean that I need twice as many people on my website to make exactly the same sales goal per month. So in this case, I'm needing to send 20,000 people to make $10,000 in revenue. And so, because I mentioned earlier, traffic can be expensive, you've just doubled your costs because you need twice as many people to get exactly the same result. So you should always be looking to increase your conversion rate, and that's why it's the second part of the AQR system. So if I just set here our e-commerce conversion rate back to 2% where we were at the beginning, but this time I want to show you the effect of increasing your conversion rate rather than decreasing, because we're always looking to increase it. And I'm going to do a smaller increase. I'm going to do just a 0.5% increase. So we're going from 2 to 2.5. And what you can see there is it straight away reduces the traffic required on my site. It takes it down to 8,000 people. So in reality, you've only increased your conversion rate by 0.5%, but you've reduced the amount of traffic you need by 20%. And so I hope you're starting to see from this how sort of powerful this can be. So the first thing is that it's really critical to know and B, then to be looking to improve your average order and your conversion rate. So what I want you to do at this stage is you might need to rewind the video, but before you do that, go and find the numbers from your store for your average order value and your e-commerce conversion rates. Again, you might need to kind of go back to earlier in the video if you can't easily get this information out of your Google Analytics to work out how to calculate it. But plug that in, along with your sales goals, and start seeing how much traffic you're going to need to drive to your site to hit your sales goals for the month. And then once you've done all that, I'd love to know what actions you're going to take as a result. So you can join my Facebook group, the E-commerce Collective, take part in the discussions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you've got about putting the calculator to work in your business. And perhaps if you're a little bit confused about what the next step should be, maybe you've worked out that you need 8,000, 15,000, 30,000 visitors a month to your site and you've got no idea where to start. But just join the group and we'll sort you out. And hope you found it useful.